It is Wednesday, April 20th of 2022. And I'm back home, and I'm here to tell you all about my adventures down in the South with the USFL today on Guy's Daily Drive. Bam! And good morning, everyone, and welcome to Guy's Daily Drive. Wednesday edition, I guess, since Monday and Tuesday were spent traveling. And you know, I didn't think about it until after I had left, but I did not take my little mirror mount thing here that I use to do Guy's Daily Drive when I went down to Birmingham, and I kind of wish I had, because I didn't want to buy a like a dash mount or a mirror mount or something like that that I probably was only going to use on that particular trip. Not that there wasn't other money that was wasted, but that just seemed like, you know, my experiences with driving down the interstate and trying to do Guy's Daily Drive is kind of a mixed bag, because you kind of go in and out of cell coverage. It can be difficult to keep a live stream going, and I had so many miles to do that my original plan of just, you know, when I stopped to pee or get something to eat, that I would do one in the car, didn't really work out that well, because I really just wanted to get going and keep going because I had so many miles to do. So here's what happened. I meant to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning on Thursday morning, and then be out the door before 5. That was the plan. Well, what happened was I didn't use Apple's clock app built in, and I had I hear a police car. There they are. I used a different app instead, and it didn't work. It did not go off, and it didn't wake me up. So I did wake up on my own at 5, which I guess all things considered is a blessing. And by really kind of moving my stuff, because I had everything already pre-packed, so all I had to do was mostly just get dressed, eat a banana, and then get on the road. Because the plan, part of the plan, was to meet with my son Guy and his girlfriend Ashley down in Richmond for breakfast. So I didn't eat before I left. You know, I had like a banana or something just to have something in my stomach. But I went ahead and got some coffee. I had a big cup of coffee sitting here in the car in a travel mug. And by 5:30 or so, I was out the door and on my way. And everything started off actually pretty good. I got past the first bottleneck, which is down there in Occoquan. Is you get on to 95 in that area, not only is it a big interchange with everybody on Route 1 going on to 95 that wants to be on 95, but then also immediately the lanes shift from 5 lanes to 4 lanes. And there's another major exit that is like less than a half a mile away from there. So there's like all this stuff happening at the same time. So it's this big bottleneck. And every single time I've tried to go that way, it's just sucked. But that morning it was great because it was early enough to where there wasn't a whole lot of traffic going in, northbound, of course. Everybody going to the city kind of sucked for them. But going south, got right onto the highway. I was like, yeah, good sign. And, I cursed myself right there by thinking things are going so well, because not more than 20 minutes later, just as I was on the outskirts of Fredericksburg, there had been an accident involving 2 tractor trailers and a car, and 2 of the 3 lanes were blocked. And the way I found out about it was I had Waze on, and Waze kept trying to get me to get off the road and get onto Route 1. And it was like, you got to be kidding me. Why would I do that? It's obviously a mistake. Except it wasn't. It was trying to get me to go on to Route 1 because of that accident. However, because of the way things turned out, it didn't really matter, because so many people use Waze these days that a lot of people had already darted out and gotten onto Route 1. So it was just as jam-packed and busy. So it didn't really matter. But I was stuck in that bad area for like an hour and a half. And so my time advantage between waking up late and now the accident had just gone to hell. I don't know what this person is doing. I don't care. So there was no more time advantage. And my plan of eating breakfast with Guy and Ashley just kind of got shot to hell. And I ended up not being able to do it. So once I got through all that, I continued on. I had lunch with my friend from the old days that was out west near Winston-Salem, because my goal for that day wasn't really all that ambitious. It was just to get to Dunn, North Carolina, and then have dinner with Tracy's aunt and cousin. But because I was so late getting to Winston-Salem, I didn't really have that much time to spend with my high school friend. Oh, don't. It's not a turn lane. You. I swear. So, after a quick lunch, it was like a 2-hour drive from Winston-Salem over to Dunn. And by the time I got there, I didn't have really that much time before I had to meet up with Barbara and Teresa. And that was like the whole first day, just dealing with traffic issues and accident issues and just a crap ton of driving, and it didn't really get me very far on my way down to Birmingham. Because if you look at where Dunn is from where I live, it's roughly 4.5 hours from our house to get to Dunn, which meant I still had 6.5 to 7 hours to go the next day. And I was taking a longer route because I'd gone down 95 instead of going down 81 on the west side of Virginia. So it's like, damn. And so the whole thing just kind of got screwed up. And I got up the next morning relatively early and drove all the way down to Birmingham, having to go through Atlanta, which sucked. And it was, I think I got into Birmingham, it was pretty late. It was like 6:30, something like that. Much later than I had wanted to drive for the day. But what are you going to do? I mean, I had to get there. So, but I did make it, checked into the hotel, which was nothing fancy. The car I had, it was a Dodge Durango that I had rented from Not Hertz, and it was bigger than I really wanted, but my choice, oh, that's loud, my choice was either the Dodge Durango or this little tiny Chevy. And it was like, no, I'll take the Dodge. And it was kind of considered an upgrade because it was more car than I had contracted for, and it was for the same price. So okay, I'll take that. So I get up the next day in Birmingham, get some breakfast, and it was, oh my God, that breakfast. Scrambled eggs and French toast, which was a specialty of this place called, I think it's called the Front Porch, something like that. And probably some of the best French toast I've ever had. It was just so good. And as the day wore on, the weather was just kind of turning to crap, and there was big thunderstorms. I actually got woke up that morning at like 3 a.m. because of a big thunder boomer that happened. So I wasn't sure if the game was going to be canceled or how it was going to work, so I didn't leave for the game, the first game, which was Birmingham Stallions versus the New Jersey Generals. And by the time I left, the game had already started. And when I got down there, there was a lot more people going to this game than I had anticipated. And just trying to make my way through to get and find a parking space. I ended up not parking in the stadium parking because there just wasn't any place to take it. So I went to an off-site place, and I wanted to get to the game as quickly as I could, so I didn't pay as much attention as I should have to where I parked the car, which was stupid on my part, especially considering that there are plenty of apps that you can use that will pinpoint through GPS exactly where the car is, and I didn't do that either because I'm dumb. But I had bought an umbrella just in case it was going to rain. And it did rain a little bit, but not too bad. But it didn't matter because I wasn't allowed to take the umbrella into the stadium. And I wasn't going to walk all the way back to the car to drop it off for a $12 umbrella. So I left it there. Then I went in and I watched the game. And the game was surprisingly good. Neither offense was all that fantastic, which is not a big surprise since they only had like 3 weeks to put these teams together. But defensively, both teams were reasonably matched, you know. And New Jersey held the lead for probably, no, not even probably. They held the lead for most of the game. And Birmingham, of course, the home team, was not doing that well. But finally, in the fourth quarter, they kind of started clicking, and they got a lead, and they kept that lead and ended up winning the game. And then the next day, I got up and went to the stadium after the first game had started, which was the Stars, Philadelphia Stars, and Houston Gamblers. Or maybe that was the third game. I don't know. There were two games, and I got there late for the first one, and I stayed all the way through to the second one, and they were both also very competitive. Relatively close games decided in the fourth quarter. So that was all. But the weather started turning bad, and they postponed the last game, which was Pittsburgh Maulers and I want to say Tampa Bay Bandits. I think that's the name of the team. That got postponed to Monday night, and I wasn't going to wait until Monday night and watch that game and then try to drive back all the way through on Tuesday. I was like, nope, not doing that. So when I got up on Monday morning, the plan was to leave, and I did, and start my drive back, which I did. But as far as the football goes, let's talk about that for a minute. None of the games I watched had much that was very impressive in the way of offense. Lots of mistakes, lots of missed opportunities. The quarterbacks were really not in sync with their receivers, and the front line, for the most part, wasn't really blocking that well, either in pass blocking or in run blocking, which made a big difference. And the yards that running backs were getting were mostly on their own. But again, in my mind, it's easier to put together a decent defense in a relatively short amount of time than it is to put together an offense, especially with a lot of guys that, some of which hadn't played football in a while and had never played on the professional level. So, things were going to be shaky offensively. So if I'm going to look at how things worked out, all the teams' defenses were much better than their offenses. Even Pittsburgh, which kind of got blown out, their defense was not at all bad. Tampa only scored 17 points, but that was enough. Offensively, none of the teams were in sync. None of them really played all that well. Special teams mostly it was kind of a mixed bag. Punt coverage wasn't too bad. Kick returns were not great. The kicking game in general, punting wasn't bad, but field goals, I think there were a total of 2 or 3 field goals in total that were scored as compared to how many were attempted. Even extra points were kind of rough. So I know that while I was waiting for games to start, I could see kickers out there trying to get some last-minute practice in. But of everything that I saw, the kicking game was the weakest across the entire league. It was not good. But it's not necessarily the kicker's fault. They have to get in sync with their holders. And if you have a line that's not able to hold the defense back to give the kicker enough time, if he's rushed, then you're not going to get great results. And I'm almost to work, so I'll tell you about the ride home next time, or maybe later today, if I decide to go bowling. I still haven't decided. If you want to get a hold of me, you can reach me at Guy's Daily Drive. Larry is watching, or he was watching. Hi, Larry. Guy's Daily Drive is, of course, the podcast feed for this podcast, as well as the kind of impromptu Mac to the Futures that I did in the hotel rooms as I was going down. If you want to reach me by email, there is podcast. Wow, I'm really out of it this morning. Podcast at vertshark.com, guy at mymac.com. Those are the 2 email addresses. Twitter is MacParrot, VertShark, and or Guy and Gaz. Those are 3 Twitter accounts that I follow. You can reach me on any of those. Of course, you can go to vertshark.com and see all of the audios and all of the videos that I post. If you go to YouTube, you can watch the videos. Just look for VertShark, that is the name of the channel, and then like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. All those words. So very, very easy. If you'd like to contribute to me making terrible choices about microphones and traveling long distance to go see football games, you can do so. Patreon.com/MacParrot. That's one way. Coffee, ko-fi.com/MacParrot. That's another. And you can pay a pal at paypal.me/MacParrot. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you all so very much for watching and or listening to Guy's Daily Drive. And I will see all of you next time right here. on Guy's Daily Drive. Bye-bye.